Hello everybody and welcome to JSmith takes a quick look at Rayman Origins. This is a game, I know this is a game that was released in 2011. So it's over a year old, but it is such it's a breath of fresh air even in this kind of in 2013. I bought this game on the Steam sale and I was just really impressed, and I said I really should do a video on this game because I'm having such a good time. So here it is. So I am using the Xbox 360 controller to play this. If you don't know, Rayman Origins is a platformer developed by Ubisoft and was released on basically every platform. So it's on PS3, Wii, Xbox 360, it's on the Vita, it's on the Nintendo DS, and of course Steam. So we are going to get right into the game. We're not going to start a new game, we're going to continue on. I want to say I'm about halfway through the game, and which means a lot because I already put in about 5 hours into it. So it seems like it's a pretty lengthy game. So basically, you start off at this Snoring Tree, and immediately you're able to pick from a few different characters. You're able to pick from Rayman, Glowbox, which is this weird blue-looking dude, and these little teensies. And so I am really unfamiliar with Rayman as a whole. I've only played a little bit of those games, in my previous existence in this earth. So, a game called Rayman Origins, I was really surprised that there's not too much of, an exemplary story that would go along and kind of give me or offer like any sort of insight into the Rayman legacy. Basically what I have been doing is running around as, I usually play as Rayman. There's not in the beginning I did a little bit of character swapping, but basically I play as Rayman. I've been going around these outside levels. I beat all of those. I think there's what, 6 levels. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 6 counting a special level in each world. But after I beat them all, there has unlocked another part of each world, with each having 6 levels of their own. So I'm going to show you and demonstrate a little bit. I'm going to showcase the different characters and the different stages as well. So let's go to the gibberish jungle. And let's start out at Geyser Blowout. So an interesting thing about this game is you don't start with all the powers that you're able to. You have to find these little fairy princesses, kind of save them from whatever, whatever cage that is keeping them captive. And then you go out and you get different power-ups in that regard. So I've gotten, the ability to dive, the ability to float, the ability to attack, and yeah, just a multiple ways and avenues of doing harm or assisting me in the game thus far. And so it keeps the gameplay fresh, as you kind of want to expect out of a platformer game. There's nothing worse than a platformer that kind of has everything drawn out right at the beginning for you. I find that extremely annoying, and it just kind of ruins any kind of hope at progression. I don't like a stagnant kind of gameplay, as in, let's say, Gianna Sisters. You had all of your power-ups right at the beginning of that game, and you were not given any kind of motivation to proceed on other than, simply your own self propelling you to kind of move on. And I just kind of felt that, that was a little bit boring. Not too much excitement there, but with Rayman Origins, you're always going to be kind of challenged, and there's always going to be something new to explore, or new to see, or new to collect. One thing that I probably should have started this whole video just boasting about how amazing this game actually looks. The art design, the colorfulness, just everything. It looks hand-drawn, it looks fresh, looks crisp. I've never seen backgrounds being able to blend so well into like the foreground. There's so much going on at the game that you can really This is a game that you should kind of take your time and focus on a little bit. Just take in all the differences and all the uniqueness that this game does offer. And so there's something really I want to say special about this game in that sort of regard. So that is the first level. There wasn't too much of me explaining what the hell I was doing, but I'll get into that in a little bit. So here's me. I completed the level. This is going to count up all of those gold things that I got, and depending on how many of those gold things I get is the score that I receive. So getting that, I got over 150. That's the first tier. I would need 300 for the next tier and 350 for the final tier. So this kind of level basically is a showcase of how a lot of the levels kind of go, you know, beginning to end. What you didn't see in this level was any of the little like special places that you could find in the level to gather more of those caged creatures that you saw at the end. So there's at least there's a few ways that you can gather those. There will be little hidden secret passageways that you will find as you kind of go through the level and explore a little bit more. Most of the time, if you like listen carefully, you'll hear, you know, a little voice that goes like, "Help me, help me," and then that's pretty much your cue that there's a hidden little room close by. So we are going to use Glowbox this time. We're going to head up to the desert of there's didgeridoos, like didgeridoos. Oh, that makes sense. Okay, didgeridoos. We will go to Win or Lose. No, let's go to Skyward Sonata. I think this is a pretty decent level. So, the beginning, the loading stages are kind of cool, or kind of neat. There's not really much. It's just kind of you and a silhouette. The time to beat is 2:25. I'm not gonna go for any of those records. But similar, or actually opposed to Rayman, this guy is a little bit, he's bigger. But I think everyone generally has a similar, they're all gonna be able to have this special power-up. So you can fly, you can hit, you can do splash damage, and kind of all that fun stuff. This is just a little bit, you know, I don't think he's as fast as Rayman. His reach might not be as long. His like arms certainly don't break apart. But Glowbox, he's a pretty cool bro, and I haven't really mind being him so much. There's something about games like this, or games that have a character selection screen, that I generally just stick with, you know, the main character. And so for the most part, I have been playing as Rayman. I really don't play too much as Glowbox, or what the hell are they called? The Teensies? Excuse me, I didn't mean to press start there. The Teensies? Teensies are probably my least favorite. Glowbox at least handles pretty similarly to Rayman, in the regard that, you know, all his moves are just about the same, which I think that kind of is a throwback to, I mean, Glowbox will always be player 2. I haven't been able to play 2 players just because I'm playing on PC and I am forever alone. So, you know, can't really do much in that kind of regard. But let's go down here, kind of floating on this weird, almost flute snake. I don't know. He looks like a flute. Maybe he's a didgeridoo. I don't think so, though. But it's a kind of a neat little game mechanic that's not too far-fetched, or not. It's usually found in a platforming genre, as this game is. So kind of like a usual kind of thing that you'll see. I don't know, this, I mean, if you just kind of look at the juxtaposition between this level and the last level, here is what I was talking about for the secret compartments. I already unlocked this in a previous run. As you can see, those things kind of floating around. What these stages do, when you're at the either end of the level, or you find these hidden passageways, what the game wants you to do is kill all of the birds, or kill all the enemies on the screen. You can notice that the enemies have this kind of steam coming out of them, and I just fell out of that cliff and died. But if you are unlike me and you're able to accomplish this, it basically opens up this locked container up here in the purple, and allows you to release all those little fun creatures inside, which will give you more points to the end. And at the end of every world, there is kind of like, the more of these little pink guys that you unlock, well, you need the pink guys to unlock enough, I don't know, enough pink guys, excuse me, alright, totally saying this wrong. Enough pink guys that you gather means that you are able to go and proceed to the next world. So if you don't get enough, and you get the pink little dudes by 1, finding those hidden rooms, 2, gathering up all these golden creatures, and I think that is just about it, to be honest, though. So not too many ways to get it, but I've never run into needing the pink guys at the end, because you'll always, if you play the game, and you'll generally have a good idea of how much that you need, or really, if you play the game and you're at least semi-decent at the game and getting probably over 1 kind of unlock at the end of the level, you're pretty much never going to run into a problem, or at least I have not yet so far. So let's continue on. I think I'm coming to the end of the level somewhat soon. I'm going to kill the bird, hop over the, I think that little Tweety bird with spikes is a recurring character. Probably the least, or probably the most recurring character in pretty much the game, which is kind of odd. But you'll see him underground, you'll see him flying in the air, you'll see him in the water. For whatever reason, they just kept using that for whatever reason. I should also mention in this game, while the video is still semi-young, that the audio is just really good. I love like the little noises that these creatures make when they're singing their song. When I gather the larger of these yellow things, he's kind of sleeping all the time. When I kill, oh my god, he's like wrinkly. When I collect him, he makes all the little twinkly guys kind of start singing, and then they're worth double points after that. So let's kill the last of those angry birds, and we reach the end of the level. So kill 1. There looks like there's only 5, so let's kill them all. And got 1 more over here. One interesting thing about this game is you can kill the creatures and they'll turn into like those big balloons, and if you hit them 1 more time, that will cause all the yellow things inside of them to double. So effectively only getting 1, you now get 2 if you explode them. Something that I often do forget about, or at least often don't care about. Whether or not that makes me a scumbag, I don't know. But usually at the end of the levels, I generally end up with about this score. So I'll at least find 1 other cage that's holding the pink things, and I always get at least the lowest score. And at the end, that also, you know, getting that cage unlocked, I'll generally finish off the world with about, or excuse me, the level with about 3 every time. And having that has never caused me any kind of grief or any way for me to not be able to collect anything. The worlds themselves, they're not too long. I think that you can probably, if you're kind of almost speed running it, you can accomplish a world in probably about half an hour, I would say. So it doesn't take too long, but the game just it'll cause you to you want to explore pretty much a little bit more of everything, just so you can find all the little things inside. The pink things, I guess they also unlock all these characters. So you start off with Rayman. You get an alternate costume out here to the left, which he is kind of dressed up as Glowbox. And then the rest of the characters that you unlock are these little teensy guys, which, I don't know, I don't really like. But I'll be them just to kind of showcase and show off a little bit more of the levels. Next we will go to, probably up here. And this is, I'll show you one of like the coolest levels in terms of level design, or even just artistic as well. So let's think, yes, Piping Hot. So in this world, it starts off as kind of like an ice world, but then it evolves later into this kind of like fire paradise. You'll see what I mean in just a little bit. So we're gonna go in here, crash down through all these ice blocks, and hopefully make our way, just keep going down. I'm not trying to accomplish too much. I'm not trying to break any of my records. I'm not trying to gather the most points. Just showing off a little exhibit of how the game plays. Again, this is a game that is fairly old, but I think it offers enough charm that you might consider picking it up. It is $30 on Steam, so it's kind of like a hefty price, but what you're getting out of that is probably one of the best platformers of this generation in terms of, you know, kind of like AAA titles. I mean, I know Ubisoft, it's not an indie game, and I usually cover indie games. So if that's what you're hoping to find, I'm sorry, but this is kind of like, I would classify this as a AAA title. So $30, you're getting a really great game, a lengthy game as well, especially considering it is a 2D platform. But it offers enough gameplay that'll keep you interested. At least I hope it'll keep you interested. It certainly has kept me interested for a lengthy period of time so far. But see what I mean about like the visuals? I mean, it started off as that kind of cold, chilly level with all the blues, and now it's kind of turned into almost like a Mexican fiesta. So it's got like a really neat kind of like mariachi band in the background. I think that's mariachi, at least. I'm not really sure. I haven't kept up with my mariachi news and genres, but that is how I would classify it. You know, you get the trumpet, and I think there's a little bit of the a guitar in there as well, and I think that's what a mariachi band would be made of. I don't know, but again, I'm kind of getting off topic, but I do want to recommend this game. At least if, you know, $30 is a little bit steep for you, definitely at least consider, you know, picking up in the next Steam sale if you like what you see so far. Actually, I would like to ask everyone in the comments if you've seen this game or if you've played this game. Let me know how you feel about it. You know, have you played the game for a long time? Have you recently got it? Do you just get it because of this quick look? You know, let me know. I love hearing from you guys, and I like to hear all the feedback that I get in regards to all of this information. So, yeah, let me know in the comments if you enjoy this game, if you already have the game. What do you think about me showcasing kind of like a, you know, an Ubisoft game? Would you rather me stick to, hey, look, I guess I didn't get this one last time. Would you rather me, you know, only stick to indie games? But I feel this game, a lot of the reason why I do play indie games is they have a lot of charm. There's some kind of X factor in indie gaming that makes you want to support it. Maybe the X factor in this game is that it had really good, oh my goodness, I died right there. The game had really good like reviews, and critically it was well received. I think it got like a 9.5 on like IGN. Not that that means anything really. But critically, there has been a lot of praise for this game. Unfortunately, I don't think it really sold too well, probably because it was a 2D platformer coming out in 2011 at a full price. And even still now, at $30, that is a large turnoff for a game that is, you know, a 2D platform. I think the genre as a whole is just kind of seeping down, not in terms of quality, but in terms of how people perceive game versus time played, and how much like a time. Well, let's put it this way. If you're playing a 2D platform, you're not going to go in really probably expecting a full-length game. As maybe that is part of indie development. Maybe there's something wrong with the genre. Maybe there's something wrong with the perception of it, which I think that's true. But that's really nothing that we can, you know, do about. We can certainly look forward to more of, you know, if there's any games similar to this, hopefully they'll come out and breathe, you know, a fresh air into the genre. But you can't really predict that at all. So right here I showcased a lot of the variations of the characters. I showed a few of the levels. I'm going to show you another type of level. There's two other types of levels. One I'm going to get to quickly. The other maybe I'll showcase. You know, it's only 20 minutes. We'll see. So I'm going to go back to the Glade of Dreams, which is basically the hub world. But what I'm going to do is go back one more time. I'm going to head back to this area, to the Desert of Didgeridoos, and I'm going to do a little treasure hunting. And so after you unlock a certain amount of the little pink guys, I do apologize for not knowing their name other than little pink guys. Are they? I don't know. Like, I don't know because I don't have enough expertise in Rayman to kind of figure out what's going on. So in this level, this little treasure box, he's going to run away from me, and it's my job to catch him and break him open. Unfortunately, these levels kind of present themselves as kind of a challenge, mostly because if you fail, you have to start right back at the beginning. So you have to pretty much do a perfect run. I'm not sure if I can attack the chest like right now, or if I have to wait until the end when he will be inevitably trapped. But we will hopefully get there in one go. I don't want to take up too much of your time, but let's see what I can do. Yeah, oh, I thought that was going to be the end. Here it is. So yeah, so those levels are kind of, there'll be one in every level, or every world, excuse me. And you'll have to eventually fight the little crate, and you unlock these teeth. And what the teeth do is you throw it into this weird dude's mouth in the beginning at the tree of snoring. And I guess the whole start of this game, this guy will eventually like pop out once you get it, and he has like teeth. And so I collected 3 so far. I'll have to get more to fill out his mouth. I don't know what's in there. But the game starts out pretty much simply like I'm hanging out with my friends, hanging on the tree, making some sweet music, and that's bothering people at the stump of the tree who get mad and kind of, I don't know, I guess they did something to piss everyone off, including myself, and kind of like put me in this weird situation. So let's go to, and I don't think this will be too spoilerish to go to Goreman Land. So again, this is like the area that I was just at, so it starts cold and goes to hot. But at the end of the level, you have this rift level in which there's a bunch of these pink things. I guess I could show you as well. No harm in that. Now that'll give you a good synopsis of all the different kind of variations of the level in the game. So, in this level, you will push back all of like the black nastiness, like these little tentacles, and it's, you know, trying to make your way from left to right, collecting a lot. It almost serves as like a bonus level to try to see how much of these little, I want to call them starites for whatever reason. I may have Mario in the mind. But yeah, it's trying to get as much as you possibly can. These are the really only levels that I've gotten probably like the highest score that I can. I don't think I quite did myself justice in this one. It's kind of short. So 185, I needed 175 to get the, you know, the next level, but I also needed 200 to get like the super ultra happy mode. I don't know. But I failed that this time by 15, unfortunately. But that's okay. Wasn't trying. Well, I mean, I could say that, but that's not completely true. I did try. And the last, oh, wait, go back here. In the last variation of the level, which will be at the end of almost every level, or almost every world, is this kind of fly level. And you'll see what I mean by fly level. I mean, I'm flying, but I'm also on a fly. And this one actually does have a little bit of a boss as well, which is kind of neat. So, hop on my fly creature. I can suck in air with X, and I can shoot my little laser beams with A. Excuse me. I can hold in A, and it fires a little bit slower, or I can tap it and make my thumb hurt after a while, but that will also allow me to kind of rapid fire. So the point, again, is to try to get as many of these as I possibly can, as many of these little fly guys, and complete the level with the highest score possible. Like last time, or last level, this almost serves as a little bit of a bonus as well. Kind of like a good job for completing the world. Here's a couple levels that are, you know, maybe a little bit more enjoyable, or at least a break from the norm, or a break from what you have been doing, which is basic platforming. I guess I can't really say basic platforming. There's enough variation in the powers that you get. There's enough variation in the level that you never feel like you're too bored with the game. One thing that I have noticed is the game's controls, they're not as crisp as I would want them to be. They're a little bit floaty. But it's not really game detracting, as you do get used to the control scheme. But if you're coming from, say, Super Meat Boy, where everything is extremely tight and extremely precise, it's not going to be quite like that. But there's not too many platforming elements that you're going to need that precision. There are not too many elements that you're going to need to kind of focus solely on that sort of platforming. There's a little bit of a leeway. There's almost an ease to this game as well, so it's not going to be the most difficult platforming game as I stab myself in the arse with a knife. I apologize for all of the American viewers for saying arse. I don't know where the hell that came from. I did 6 months in Scotland. Well, it sounds like I went to prison in Scotland. No, I did a semester abroad, so maybe some of their colloquialisms have kind of rubbed off on me sexually and otherwise. Oh my god, I didn't realize I had an extra heart. One thing that I failed to mention about this game, and a little bit of the gameplay mechanics, is it is one hit equals your death, unless you have a certain heart container that you'll find throughout all of the levels, which will offer you an extra hit before you die. So we got through the fire level. Now we are heading towards the ocean, which will be the next world, actually. The next world is kind of like a pirate bay, ocean, like, so you'll be above ground some of the time, but a lot of the time there'll be swimming levels. And the swimming levels in Rayman Origins are extremely well done. Here's my little heart guy that I mentioned earlier. So a lot of kind of the, I don't want to say faux pas, but a lot of problems in 2D platforming games when it comes to water levels is that they're not that much fun. They're maybe a little bit hard to control, maybe a little bit difficult to maneuver around, but you don't really feel that in Rayman Origins. The precision, or not really the precision, the controls in it, oh my god. This is like the boss, this little weird eel thing that has like a condom on the back of it. Lubed for her pleasure. Or ribbed for her pleasure, I should say. Well, maybe it might be lubed. I don't know. It might be a slippery eel. I don't know. Good stuff. Fun game. Extremely, extremely beautiful game. All, I would imagine, hand-drawn by a great team of artists that Ubisoft... what Ubisoft developer was this? Ubisoft Montpellier, I believe. Which I think is that Vermont? Somewhere. I don't know. Reminds me of New England somewhere. Anyways, 30 bucks might be steep for this game. It depends on how much money you have. But I do want to say, if you ever see this game on a Steam sale that is less than 20 bucks, absolutely pick it up. If you are a fan of 2D games, if you're a fan of Rayman, you probably already own it. Just in general, a fun, quirky, cute, bright game that has just enough charm to keep you coming back for more. I've played a lot so far and I can't wait to finish it. It's just, there's something about it that just makes me want to continue playing. And, you know, although I know jack shit about Rayman, this game really is able to bring you into kind of, I suppose, what the game and what the series is all about, which is good platforming, fun platforming, and pretty graphics. But I think that will about wrap it up for this quick look. Thank you very much for checking it out with me. Again, let me know what you guys think of, you know, me doing, you know, maybe an older game or a AAA game. I always love hearing back from you guys. If you want to leave me a comment on YouTube, please do so. If you like the video, do that as well if you want to like it. But if you want to reach me outside of YouTube, always feel free to do such shenanigans on Twitter. And until next time, thank you guys very much for hanging out with me again, and I will check you later. This is JSmithOTI. Peace.